I see an awful lot of familiar faces, and this is kind of like old home week in a way. It's good to see some of the former employees come back to celebrate this special moment with us, and you will hear more about that in just a minute. I'm Jim Martin, Extension Weed Control Specialist here at Princeton and the moderator of our Faculty and Staff Association. I'm delighted to have the opportunity to introduce the speakers with us today. We have, I think, a panel of a lot of good speakers who have taken time out of their very busy schedules to be here with this special moment with us. This has been a long time in the making. Some of those folks who've been on this committee, and I might say also special thanks to Dr. Monroe Rasnick and his committee for putting this together. Actually, there were some of the people in that brainchild this whole idea about putting up a plaque, and this started back well in advance of our 2000 field day when we were celebrating our 75th anniversary. So that's been, what, 3 years ago? Probably 3.5 years in the making. And so here we are today to celebrate what I think is a very special occasion. To welcome the group here are some leaders in the community, our mayor, Vicki Hughes, and followed by her will be our Judge Executive of Caldwell County, Van Knight. Vicki?
The UK Research Center, as it is for our community, they're going to play a vital part from here on. It's been here as long as I can remember. I've got some very, very fond memories of the UK Research Center. I won't go into those right now, but there's some really good parking places on this property. And they don't even do that anymore. They use the courthouse steps, but there are some really good parking areas back through there. Made a lot of good connections with a lot of good people back through those days, back in the 60s. It's always been here in my eyes because I grew up right down the road here, not a mile from the experiment farm. It's always been a big part of my life and the community. It's very, very vital to us that we do whatever we can as city and county to keep you all here and to see that you grow. Welcome. Glad you're in Princeton. Thank you.
We do welcome all of you here to Princeton. Back when I was younger in the 50s and growing up, we did call this always the experiment farm, and I never did know the true meaning of it. And then when we came along and done all the other things that was happened out here, well, we renamed it to the Research Center. So that sounds a little bit better than experiment station, I guess. But I know Miss Petty to be in it a little later, but Miss Petty, we've done this before, and all this is very valuable to our community and its history. So appreciate all of you being here and hope you enjoy yourself today, and welcome back anytime. We do have, this is
attendant of the station, Mr. Donnie Davis, and he will be making some introductions.
And raise the money for the original 400 acres of land that was bought and donated to the University of Kentucky to begin the experiment station. So Miles is really has a lot of history about this facility, and we're sure glad that he's with us today. Thanks for coming. Also, Jim Moore, he's fairly new in our community. He is the executive director of the Caldwell Line Economic Development Association. Jim, where are you? Stick your hand up there. Jim, who had the foresight back in 1925 to come together with the enthusiasm and the desire to have an agriculture experiment station located in this community.
Some pieces of the history, starting from the beginning until here we are today, is Dr. Monroe Rasnick. He led the charge in trying to put a lot of these things, not only this here, but the records that we have. Certainly invite you to pick this up and read a little bit more in detail about the history of the experiment station here. I want to go through just a few of the things that were of particular interest for a research center. A couple of the things he mentioned were the location, the fact that Princeton is in pretty much the center of the area that they wanted to serve with a center at that time, and also representative of the major soils in the area. And so there were two real good reasons for locating the center here at this place. A local committee was formed in 1923 to raise funds and to purchase 400 acres of land that was necessary for an experiment station here in Caldwell County. Just a little bit, and there's a lot more details in there. Thank you.
thanks for doing that. You know, chasing down some of those facts is not a lot. Sift through some papers and newsprint and things. They did a marvelous job putting the book together and bringing us to where we are today. You know, they didn't fight these trucks back in the 20s on the introduction in that society, and we're fortunate to have you here today. If you please come forward and share some comments with us. Thank you, Dr. Martin.
The Highway Marker Program is dedicated to commemorating the Commonwealth's history through road markers. They recognize historical sites, events, and personalities. And since 1949, there have been over 2,000, well, there presently exist today about 1,850 markers. Now you will see the number on this marker is 2,118. So there's about 200 and some odd that are unaccounted for, and I think most of them succumbed to some of the large trucks that have just passed here, and so they're no longer in the inventory. This program is administered by the Kentucky Historical Society in partnership with the Kentucky Transportation Cabinet. And we appreciate the support of T.C. Chambers, who's here today as a representative of the Department of Transportation, and thanks Secretary Codell for his support of the program. This marker today records for posterity the partnership between the citizens of Caldwell County, who donated 400 acres, and the University of Kentucky College of Agriculture to develop an experiment station to improve crops, production, and selection of crops. And the important thing is that the vision of citizens in the 1920s is recorded by this marker, so that this generation and those to follow will know that local leaders nearly 80 years ago made good decisions that benefit this generation and those to come. And on behalf of the Kentucky Historical Society, we thank you for allowing us to play a part in this dedication today. Thank you so much.
We need to be proud of our state. I've been in a lot of places in the United States, some outside the United States, but I don't think I've ever seen an area that's any prettier than right here. I'm really proud of it. Mr. Frymeyer, I'd like to tell you that the Transportation Cabinet thinks this is one of the most vital programs that we have, and we're very, very proud to have the association with this historical society. You know, as Mr. Frymeyer said, there are almost 2,000 of these markers scattered across the state, and age, weather, vandalism causes a lot of them to have to be replaced during the year. Well, our maintenance crews are the people that generally do the replacement work, and we coordinate this work with the Historical Society's local chairman. And we certainly appreciate the relationship that we have with these people, and we look forward to this continuing relationship. Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay.
That'll help the picture, though. They won't recognize me.
You don't have to take that back.
Spring here, too.
We all separate, okay?
Nancy, do you know how to do that?
I think it's
We just pull. Tell us when to pull. Nancy,
Oh.
pull.